Hello, welcome back. It's Rapid Regeneration. I'm David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not making any medical claims or claims about diseases. I am sharing some information, some logical information, some helpful scientific information. This is the information that I learned to solve my health problems, to get out of the hell that I was in, and the pain and the suffering and the desperation when I was in the depths of feeling horrible for 4 years. And then I figured this stuff out, how to recover. Now, when I was doing this, and I finally found out there's a solution and that I could solve my problems and I could recover, I thought, man, I got to learn how this works. This is the most important thing. I mean, without your health, what do you have? And so I basically made a commitment to learn this stuff. I became obsessed. I got formally educated as a regenerative detoxification specialist. And I also just learned on my own, independently, and through trial and error, through research, through books, through virtual mentors, and information like you're doing right now. And so that's the power. That's the power of what this is all about. Is basically the world has a certain way of working, and if you can figure it out, you're going to be just so much ahead. You increase your awareness and so much further ahead to accomplish your goals, other than just going through this thing blindly. Just like, okay, just tell me some instructions to follow and I'll just do this and hopefully I get better. But you're really understanding what's going on a deep level, on a cellular level, and how your body works and heals itself. So basically this is key, this segment. You want to avoid the things in this segment, on this list, that destroy health. And these are pollutants. These are body pollutants. These are very common. They're all over the place. They're ubiquitous. And they destroy health. And so, basically, otherwise, if these pollutants continue to go into the body, you now understand some concepts like the lymphatic system of the body, the cleaning system of the body, how it gets backed up, it gets congested, it doesn't eliminate properly. Then your body chemistry gets affected. It becomes very acidic. All the cells basically, the kidneys aren't filtering out the wastes. The liver gets clogged up. The intestines can get full of mucus and clogged up. And, you have this wasteland. Now it's inviting in parasites. The immune system can't keep up. And basically, if these cells are all surrounded by these toxins and these pollutants and these acids, then they can't respirate properly. They can't take in nutrients properly. The cell itself can become damaged or irregular or mutated and stop functioning properly as well. So this is a very bleak picture that I'm painting, and it's happening every single day around planet Earth as individuals are going through this hellish kind of cycle, downward spiral. And that's why it's my mission to help you if you're experiencing problems and you're trying to get to the next level. Because I know that this information it's the most powerful that I've found. Okay, so why is this happening? So, we've become spoiled, you could say, in developed civilization, in first world countries, and other countries as well to some degree. In modern times, we have these luxuries of food and drinks, we have technologies, we have products, and we have these creature comforts. Many of these leave harmful residues when they're consumed. So it's up to the individual to take back the reins of your body and clean up your environment. Okay, just like if your trash bin got blown over by wind and blew garbage all over your property, you would need to go and pick it up and clean it up. So that's all we're doing here. is actually what we're doing is just stopping the garbage from being blown all over your house in the first place. So, okay, here's the main areas. I'm just going to go through this list. Okay, chemicals in the food and the beverages. This is a big one. Start reading the labels. We're supposed to have these regulatory bodies that protect us. Well, guess what? They still allow a bunch of these harmful chemicals to be used. Sometimes it's to save costs, it's to preserve things longer, it's to enhance the flavor, or some of these are on record super addictive to the consumer. So the consumer buys the same food or beverage product over and over again. So don't leave it up to the regulators to tell you to stop these things from being put in. Okay, they're not stopping it. It's still going in the products. So you have to look out for yourself and your family. Watch out for chemicals in the food and beverages. This really exploded after World War II, at least here in the United States. And you started getting more and more processed foods. And it's just completely exploded. I mean, the 70s was a new explosion. Then the 90s, a new explosion. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. And yeah, this is going to be your preservatives, your crazy chemicals that you can't pronounce, your GMOs, your pesticides, chemicals, and all this stuff. I mean, this is a huge, huge pollutant, very, very toxic, neurotoxic in many cases, very acidifying to the body, mucus forming, and avoid. And it's not that hard to avoid. This part is not even about you need to change what you're eating or something. Just get the natural organic version with no chemicals in it. Yeah, so that's not even that hard, this part of the list. Okay, another big pollutant is things that you breathe in or that you put in or are on your skin or hair. These are things like skincare products. You have detergents because you're going to breathe that in when you wear the clothes. You have soaps, hand sanitizers. You have household cleaners, deodorant, toothpaste. All of this kind of things can be typically full of harmful chemicals. And when you breathe in toxins, it goes straight to the bloodstream. A lot of times this is a neurotoxic event. And here's the other crazy thing is that fragrances don't have the same, all the same regulations that food has. And so you can allow even more chemicals if it's being added to something as a fragrance. So, the other thing too is if you live in the city, which is basically almost everybody, or in a metro population, if you got a lot of automobile traffic, you got a lot of industrial things going on, wastes from the city, just be aware of the air that you're in, and maybe you should get around some trees or plants or find some place outside of the hustle and bustle of the city. That's what I've done and where I've chosen to live. It's a little slice of nature that's kind of more outside of the main area of the city, because that can be a huge area. So by the way, the household products, not that difficult either to stop waging war on yourself with these chemicals. All you got to do is switch to a natural version. I've done that in my house. If you want to see the products that I use, just go to rapidregeneration.com/household. That'll categorize it there for you. You could always go to /store, as well. Okay, here's another one. Electronics, lights, and technologies. Now this is a biggie because we're living here in the postmodern age. But okay, you have your light bulbs. Now a lot of people don't even realize this. Now somewhere in the mid 2000s, to the late 2000s, everybody started switching over slowly but surely to more efficient and more efficient light bulbs. Save on the energy bill. These are fluorescent, LED, and halogen bulbs. Now, people switched off of your Thomas Edison type light bulbs, which is an incandescent bulb, which is the old-fashioned kind. All you have to do is look up studies. There's so many that link these other kinds, your LED, your halogen, and your fluorescent, especially fluorescent, that link these types of light to a drop in how good humans feel and how well humans perform compared with a traditional bulb. Once you start to get hip to this and you raise your awareness, you'll start to notice, my gosh, you know what, that is kind of a harsh light. It's a harsh, cold kind of a light compared with the warm, vibrant light of the incandescent bulb. And so, yeah, I mean, it's scientific. These lights give off a specific type of radiation and basically wavelength. In my opinion, this is disharmonious with the human body. It's a form of pollution. And the more healthy you become, the more sensitive that you might be to these types of stimulus, and you may actually decide, you know what, I'm going to switch these lights out. I'm going to go to the incandescent bulbs. That's what I've done at my house. Again, I guess you can go to rapidregeneration.com/light bulb, because what's funny is that you can't find these incandescent bulbs in stores anymore, really. You have to basically buy them online. Okay, that's a great category. Now, another category as we're closing out here is radiation, electronic radiation. Okay, this is going to be things like your appliances, your microwaves, your computers, your things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, location services, cellular data, cell phone radiation. Okay, this is not a theory. These levels of radiation are very real. They're very measurable. It's been documented. In my view, this is a very unnatural stimulus affecting the harmony and the natural functioning of the body. Now, I'm not saying you need to move to a cave and just live in there off of nature. I understand I'm using technology right now, but I'm on Ethernet, so I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm plugged in, hardwired. But I understand that there's trade-offs. I have a cell phone. I use a cell phone because the benefits outweigh the radiation from it. But there's things you can do. I bet you didn't know, or maybe you did, things you can change on the settings of your cell phone to make it radiate less. There's things, I mean, there's actually some amazing things, strategies that I've learned to protect from electronic pollution, electronic radiation, and EMFs, and that's going to be covered in an upcoming segment that's called Mitigating Electronic Pollution in EMFs. So yes, I am going to cover that in great detail, so make sure to skip ahead and check out that segment. If you just can't wait, if you don't want to learn about all this other stuff before then, just skip ahead and learn that episode, because that is an absolute game changer. I see it affecting people, holding people back, because they're super healthy and they work on their health, but then they're just radiating themselves. It doesn't have to be that way. So check out that episode. Okay, the other one, last two, is going to be how about pollutants in terms of the actual food itself. Now, we already talked about the chemicals that are being added to the foods, but what about the actual foods? Some foods are actually basically polluting the body because a food can either become useful fuel, or it can become basically just an acidic waste, stodgy waste. And basically some highly processed foods or acidic foods are turned into this substance of waste that's very irritating, toxic, suppresses bodily functions, and can be difficult for the body to get rid of, and acid forming. When this happens, if you're eating the wrong foods, it can overload the kidneys, your lymph system can get backed up, your sodium-potassium ratio of the body can be thrown out of balance, so your nervous system's not functioning correctly in that case. It can cause calcium loss, as calcium is buffering the acids. It can fill up the liver with toxins. It can line the intestines with mucus. All of this stuff, it can invite in parasites and harmful organisms to take over. Now the immune system's not working properly. All this stuff is bad, and this is just from food. So here's the foods that can contribute to a form of pollution in the body after they get eaten. And basically all acid-forming foods do this to some extent, which is, unfortunately, it's going to be all cooked foods. But some cooked foods are especially toxic and acid-forming and polluting. So those are going to be especially like your GMO foods, your chemical-laden foods, we talked about that. Your processed foods, like your white flour, any food products, things that are packaged and just processed foods as opposed to whole foods. Okay, your dairy, which is another very acidic food. Okay, fried foods, especially oily, greasy foods, especially breads, grains, and starches. Like potatoes and corn. These things turn into can turn into a hardened paste like glue, as well as your beans and your lentils. I know this is a tough list because this is like all the good stuff. Okay, and then your meats, especially your conventional, non-organic meat products, especially those. Unfortunately, all fish and meat actually ferment inside the intestines. In other words, they rot slowly and break down that way. Are acid forming, cause the body to produce excessive uric acid, especially. So now some of these are worse than others. Some of these are more polluting than others. And I understand that the foods are the hardest thing for someone to stop putting in their body, even if they are polluting to some extent or causing this acid chemistry. And so I'm not saying you should give this stuff up cold turkey. I'm just saying go with the worst type of stuff. There's another segment earlier, the worst things that to consume, to stop consuming. And just try to transition. Try to go into the direction of putting less bad stuff into the body so that the body can really start to turn on its self-healing process. Okay, there's one final category. This is a bonus category. And this is other individuals who are negative and toxic. Now, you have to understand, of course, which you know this, that your emotions can literally cause acidic chemistry via stress, and negative emotions. So let's consider that toxic, a form of pollution. And yes, you know who I'm talking about. I'm sure when I said this, at least one person came to mind. This person is toxic. You should not be in close proximity with them, or ideally would not be. Now I know we can't live in a vacuum. We have to make a living. We have to deal with colleagues, customers. We all have family members and personal relationships. So, I'm just saying, stand strong. Stand your ground, and don't feel like you're beholden and like you have to, because of some social convention, like you have to suffer through a toxic and a soul-sucking kind of experience, or putting up with someone who's very abusive, or they're very victimizing. And so take a stand for yourself. create boundaries, create distance, figure out how to change up your scene or your environment if you need to. And I promise, this will make you feel better, because otherwise, if you're constantly being influenced by this, it can be very toxic, very polluting. You could be doing all the healthy things you're supposed to do and still be like, ugh, I don't know why I don't feel good. I don't know why I'm stuck, I'm blocked. Because this is just as powerful of a pollutant, a toxin, and everything like that. So once the body is free of pollutants, it's amazing how it will, and again, it's not black and white, it's a spectrum. Once you start moving through the spectrum and you're giving less and less pollutants to your body's like, oh my God, thank you. You're taking this weighted vest off. You're taking, and I'm moving, and the body is just amazing what it will do. And so I hope that you will experience this for yourself. Let me know your experience if you've noticed the same thing, and watch out for these body pollutants, because they can save your life if you put this information into practice. So super, super critical. Next up in the next few segments, basically it's going to cover in more detail about the food, what's really going on in the food, the different types of food that you can eat, what it means when you eat these types of foods, what creates toxins, what creates a clean, alkaline environment. And so the fact that you're learning this is amazing. It seems like a lot of data, but really when you think about it, just how much pointless zillions of hours did you spend learning about nothing in the mainstream school system? And this is actually information that empowers you, that builds your awareness, like it did mine when I was trying to figure out, man, how can I just stop having health problems? How can I have high levels of energy so that I can create a good life? This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to know. I don't care about algebra and some random history trivia, even though I love history. But, so that's the power of this info. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm putting together so many resources at rapidregeneration.com. It is my mission to help you. I'm willing to go the distance to help you like others helped me. And I'm paying that forwards to you. And you should get yourself healthy and well, and then you should pay that forwards to other people. And just think of this, how much better that this planet would be if that happens. So let's at least try to work towards that a little bit. So keep it going, keep the momentum going, and I'll see you on the next segment.
For more information, please follow at Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.